Welcome to Political Sin. In this video, I want to talk about how the 2020 presidential election of the United States of America is extending way too long. So it's November 6th right now, and I'm doing this at 7:50 Central. I'm doing this video then. So we've extended this long, and we still have not have a winner. But it's almost more than likely that Joe Biden is going to win. He'll be president-elect Joe Biden. And my issue is not even with Joe Biden. My issue is with how long this is taking. So you have multiple states that have done the same thing. They have early mail-in ballots. You have like Ohio and Florida, and they're able to get all of this done. Now, my question is, why did all these other dumb states, they're dumb states, let this election last long? Why are they accepting so many ballots so much later? Why it shouldn't? If you are undermining the process and the confidence of the election, and like legal voting, legal ballots, legal voting in general, that's a bipartisan thing. So it's very difficult for me to talk to people on the left or liberals about specifically about voter fraud, mail-in ballots, and how the election is extending beyond the election day. Because this is the thing, if elections go beyond the day and more votes are coming in, now those votes are subject to conspiracy, man. It's subject to people possibly cheating and voting after the fact. And that is something that if we could get rid of that entirely, then I'm cool with it. And most of us should be cool with it. There should be, if there's any alleged fraud going on, every county should have a way to verify, look, these ballots are legit. We double checked it, triple checked it. And this is where blockchain or whatever might come into play in the future. Because in the blockchain, you actually... It's always backtracked. It's on the data sheet or whatever. It's on in the database. It cannot be changed. And that's how you know that it's legitimate or false, because it's cast and you can't undo it or redo it. But besides the fact of blockchain, if you cast a ballot the day after, that's illegal. And all people have to do, if they're like in the USPS, there's Project Veritas. I know they're highly controversial, but there's a post. One of the post office workers, whatever, were saying that he overheard the supervisor or whatever, the higher ups, saying to postmark November 4th ballots as November 3rd ballots. Now that is just a conspiracy. Right now, he didn't actually see someone actually cast or postmark those ballots as November 3rd. He didn't see that, but the fact is that it's extending so long. We had months. People had months to vote. And now I understand that your mind could be made up until the last minute. I understand that. But at the same time, as it goes on, as it extends each day in, day out, it makes it very difficult for people to accept the election. Now, I personally will accept the election unless there's legitimate proof. The burden of proof is on the Trump campaign and Republicans and GOP people to prove that there's fraud. Now, in Michigan, there was a county that said that there was like 6,000 ballots that that used this software electronically to cast 6,000 wrongful ballots for Biden, which those 6,000 ballots should have been for Trump. And there was also from the Detroit Free Press, I think it was called, that they got the election wrong. They got one of the senator races wrong and then they named the Democrat senator the winner. But in reality, it was the Republican senator that won, because that software miscast or miscounted the votes the wrong way. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know of any software malfunctioning and giving ballots to the other side. That's a whole conspiracy. Now that is attacking my confidence in the election system. This shouldn't happen. This should never happen. Now I am happy that they found this out, that they corrected it, and it doesn't that. Unfortunately, too, it changed the race. Now this is definitely messing with people, especially on the right. I know it's very hard for people on the left to think that, there's no voter fraud or none of this cheating going on. But there is, at least at some little tiny level. And you just hope at that little tiny level isn't thousands or tens of thousands. Because if there's thousands or tens of thousands, that obviously can shift this election, because you have Georgia, you have Pennsylvania, you have Wisconsin, you have Nevada, you have in Arizona, you have all these states. They're slim margins, only like a few thousand ballots up to like 20,000-30,000 ballots. If it's just a few hundred mistaken ballots that some scrub citizen try to like cast like multiple, that's okay, because that won't shift the election. There's always going to be those few crazy people that do that type of stuff. Now, if there was also miscast ballots in terms of like people voting for dead people, if those are being counted, as long as that it's only like a handful of people, like I said, it's not hundreds or thousands of people doing this, then this is not on some wide scale level, and that's what liberals have been arguing over. This is not a massive fraud thing that's happening. Now, I'm just evidence based. If you have the evidence, then we could build into that narrative. But when I think it's sensible for people to have reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion. When you go investigate something, you're gonna have reasonable suspicion. You're gonna have some type of probable cause to lead you in a direction that maybe that there could be something there. Now, there is not that much yet. Who knows, over the few weeks we might find out more, or maybe it'll all be done and Joe Biden wins. I just want it to be over. I just want it to be legitimate election. The election process can be trusted. The people that's doing the polling, they can, without a shadow of a doubt, prove that we can verify these votes, and the bad votes are counted out and the legal votes are counted in. I just want a fair election. I just want legal votes to be counted. The ones that are illegal, I'm not someone for conspiracy. There might have been something could have went wrong. But the thing is, you have to correct it. If you correct it and whatever happened, that's fine. Okay, I'm willing to accept that. But it looks like Joe Biden's going to win. But if there's any cheating at all, if there's any fraud on like thousands, like in Michigan, that Michigan county or whatever, that has 6,000 ballots where the software that's being used in multiple other counties miscounted votes for Biden for Trump, it just builds into that conspiracy. It builds into, as it each day in day out, as we move on past election day and they're still counting votes. That is too crazy for me. That is something that really will irk. It should irk all of us. It should bother all of us. Most of the elections we know on election day. I understand there's COVID-19. People are voting by mail. But let's be real. After the last debate, like, people are already voting, and that last debate should tell you the last whatever vote. People should have been able to vote by then. And I think, in my opinion, mail-in ballots should be arrived at the post office by election day, and you get that one day. November 3rd was this year for election day. You get that next day, and people should be working all night and counting all day until that thing is done. Okay, if you put it in the mail way too late, we are not counting that crap. Okay, and the USPS, their union workers actually endorsing Joe Biden, that even builds into a bigger conspiracy, and that all this just really annoys me. it just really annoys me because now you're gonna have MAGA people like angry as hell. You're gonna have these people that are so pro Trump, that worship him, that are just gonna defend him to the very end of the day. You're gonna have Trump now with any kind of voter fraud, any proof. He's always gonna be saying that crap. And now you're gonna piss off the liberals and you're gonna piss off the left. Now they're always gonna say, man, he can't even accept the election. He's such a disgusting human being. You have all this stuff. This is bad. This having it last beyond election day is bad. Okay, I'm all for people voting, but it's your responsibility too. It's your responsibility to get your ballots in by election day. They should totally just honestly move whatever Florida or Ohio did. They should just do what they did. They should do what all these other like states did, where they've been doing mail-in ballots. They're able to count it early, and they should count it as it goes. It's too suspicious. Even though it could be legitimate, it's too suspicious when you count all the mail-in ballots together and then you tally the votes then, and then you see 200,000 go for this candidate and then 100,000 go for this candidate like in like 1 minute. Like, that is stupid. That's stupid. That's gonna totally make you think like, oh, there's some cheating going on, and that's exactly what the people are right are saying. If you just counted the votes as it came and then just be done with it, and showed proof and it was verified and everything, and that's what blockchain could help with. That is definitely something that we should look into. This is not a partisan thing. Like, I just want legal votes to be counted. That's it. If there's shady things going on, we should be able to correct it, because it's gonna bite you back in the butt on whichever side you're on. On this side is Biden, Republicans in the butt, and Democrats are benefiting. But think about Bush 2000, Al Gore, Florida. Like, the conspiracy goes both ways, guys. And that's why I want everyone to remember that legal ballots should be counted. And this is not this is not a partisan thing. Legal ballots should be counted. We should know the results on election day or the day after. I'm even fine with it happening the day after, but after the day after, no more votes. No more votes counted. There's a level of responsibility that needs to be put on the citizen to put it in by a certain day. And if it doesn't arrive at the USPS in time, your vote doesn't count. And that is not voter suppression. That is not voter suppression, because you want to have the most confidence in your election, and you got to be able to send your ballot in early enough. Do the most responsible thing. Okay? You know by this date that you need to send your ballot in to get it to arrive at the USPS, whatever, so they could postmark it. If you don't do that, you don't deserve to have that vote counted. You don't get to the day after the election somehow have this opportunity to squeeze in some ballots in and get it postmarked the day before. That is what, like, I'm afraid of anytime an election will extend beyond the election day, because it's just bad, guys. It's bad all around. Everyone's getting pissed off at each other. People on the left is always going to think that this is voter suppression, when in reality it's just undermining the confidence of our ability to really trust the process of the voting and the verification that poll watchers, Republican poll watchers and Democrat poll watchers, should be able to look at those ballots. And if these people are not able to watch the ballot, then screw the process, man. It's rigged. That's what people are going to say. It's rigged. So maybe put video cameras at everyone counting the votes and just go from there. You guys want police to wear body cams, right? So let's just put cams in all these election booths and point it at you, so you know that people are not cheating. Like, that's the most simplest solution that I could think of for voter fraud and all that stuff. I just wish that we get this corrected somehow. We get a technology or something that's safe and secure, and the ballots are verifiable, legal ballots. And that's all I want to say. I still love America. I will accept Joe Biden as president, even though I rather have Donald Trump. But like any previous election, like accepted Obama winning in 2012. I didn't want him to win. I didn't want him to be reelected, but he got reelected. He's my president. Let's deal with it as it goes. And, fighting for what we think is right never stops. I'm sure it's the same for you guys. I know a lot of my friends are liberals and such. We should always be fighting for what's fair, what's right, what we think is in our beliefs. We should never get violent. We should always have some sportsmanship, in through all this, and stick together as Americans. Let's stick together. Let's create a better process for all of us. It's bipartisan to make everything legal, trustworthy. There's no way we can be against this. There's no way a sane person can be against having a trusted system of election and voting. And I'll leave it at that. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you guys watching. Like the video, comment what you guys think. Is there some shady stuff going on? Is this all actually you're cool with the election so far? You're fine with the ballots being counted after election day as long as it's legal? Let me know. And share the video. Let me know how I can improve the video. Let me just know what your thoughts. I appreciate you guys watching. We all die. Live the life you want to live, but if you don't like the world you living in, you're probably gonna have to do something about it, right? So I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh yeah, and one more thing. When it comes to these mail-in ballots, or when it comes to anything in life, really, if people can get away with something, they do it. If people get away with stealing, they do it. If people, like, I went to school, you went to school, I have personally done some not so, I cheated in school. I've cheated in school before. I did some not so honest things while I was in school. And the thing is, this is not just a me thing. This is like majority of people I know that I went to school or know. Most people do some dishonest things while they're in school. They cheat on tests. They figure out ways to cheat. This is something that is rampant. There's surveys out there that show that 95% of people that did the survey, that they've cheated or did something very dishonest when they're in school. So this is human nature, guys. This is human nature. So the mail-in ballots, this is not a conspiracy. This is just knowing us as people. If you do something that you know you can get away with, that's why we need election integrity. Because people will do those things to get away with something, to get whatever that they want. And that's just the last thing I really want to say to you guys and let you guys know why I feel this way about mail-in ballots and why we need the election to end as soon as it can on election day. I'm okay with it happening by the time it's the next day, but if you're having it last days and weeks, you are out of your mind, basically. It's crazy to let that go on that long and have this be every 4 years and let conspiracies grow and have your confidence shattered in the very election that you believe in. And I'll leave it at that.